They don't even know why they're thinking about you, but they are. You've entered their mind like a whisper in the dark, soft yet undeniable. Every thought they try to follow gets tangled in the shape of you. Your voice, your eyes, your presence. And it's not because you begged for their attention. No, it's because you decided it was already yours. Telepathy isn't about reading minds. It's about sending signals so clearly, so dominantly, that the world bends to meet you in your desire. You don't ask for love. You don't chase it. You command it with your thoughts. You radiate a frequency that speaks louder than words ever could. You vibrate at the level of obsession, and suddenly they can't stop thinking about you. You become a rhythm in their mind they can't escape. Every time you think of them, they feel it like a sudden pull in their chest. You don't have to be in the same room. You don't even need to be in the same city. They're dreaming about you, wondering why your name won't leave their mouth, questioning why everything reminds them of you. But you know why? Because you've taken hold of the narrative playing in their subconscious. You've become the main character in their mental movie. When you walk through this world with the certainty that you are irresistible, your energy carries that message. When you believe they're obsessed with you, the telepathic link is forged. You're not hoping for it. You're declaring it. You feel them aching for your presence. You feel them craving your attention. You feel their desire growing like wildfire. You own the moment. You own the connection. You own them. You speak to their mind in silence. You picture their eyes locked on yours, mesmerized. You feel their emotions pouring into you without a word being said. You don't doubt it. You don't question it. You know. That knowing is the force that binds them. That knowing is the spell you cast. Every thought you send is a seed planted in their psyche. And you water it with certainty, with clarity, with emotional fire. You're not here to be chosen. You're here to choose. You choose how they feel about you. You choose what they remember. You choose what they crave. You choose the story, and their mind can't help but follow. You are in control fully. That's the rampage. That's the power. They are yours, and they feel it more every second. Telepathy is often misunderstood. People imagine it as a mystical power, some supernatural ability to read minds or control people like puppets. But in truth, it's far more subtle and far more powerful. Telepathy is not magic, it's influence. It's the art of shaping someone's thoughts and emotions using the unseen language of energy, intention, and belief. You are not reading their minds. You are directing them. You are sending signals so clearly, so dominantly, that their subconscious begins to respond to you as if you were speaking to them directly. Every thought you think carries a frequency. When you focus on someone with a strong emotion, desire, confidence, knowing, that energy travels. It lands, it echoes. Most people think their thoughts are private, isolated, but thoughts are living things. They don't stay trapped in your head. They radiate outward and create impressions in the minds of others, especially if you are emotionally charged and mentally focused. So when you think about someone obsessively, they feel it. When you imagine them craving you, wanting you, needing to be near you, you're planting a seed that grows silently within them. And here's where the influence becomes real. The person may not be consciously aware of your presence in their mind, but suddenly they begin to feel things they can't explain. They remember your face out of nowhere. They have dreams about you. They find themselves checking their phone, wondering if you've texted. Their mood shifts. Their attention drifts. They feel a magnetic pull they can't logically justify. That's not coincidence. That's telepathic influence at work. This influence is strongest when you're emotionally clear and confident. If you send out signals from a place of lack or desperation, the effect weakens. But if you send them from a place of certainty, they already want me. They already think about me. I already live in their mind. Your thoughts become a force. You begin to alter the story running in their subconscious. You don't need to say anything. You don't need to be in the same room. You simply need to know it's already working. That knowing is what creates the change. Telepathy works because the human mind is a receiver as much as it is a creator. People pick up on energies all the time without realizing it. Have you ever walked into a room and instantly felt tension even though no one said a word? That's energy. That's silent communication. The same principle applies to telepathic influence. Your focus and your intention send out waves. When those waves are filled with desire and certainty, the other person receives them. Their brain translates those signals into emotions, thoughts, and impulses. They may not understand why they're suddenly drawn to you, but the pull is real, and it's coming from you. Think of yourself as a broadcaster. Your thoughts are your signal. Your emotions are your power source. The clearer the message and the stronger the emotion, the more undeniable the transmission. And the more you broadcast, the deeper the impression becomes. This is why repetition is key. Every time you imagine them thinking about you, dreaming about you, missing you, you reinforce the pathway in their subconscious mind. Over time, this creates a loop. They think of you, feel something, and then think of you again. That loop turns into obsession. And it doesn't matter if you haven't spoken in weeks, or if you're just beginning to get to know them. The moment you decide to telepathically influence their thoughts, you are entering their world energetically. You are walking through the back door of their mind and leaving footprints. That's influence. That's the power of focused, intentional thought. It's not wishful thinking. It's directed energy. Silent, but it's louder than any word you could speak. So you're not casting spells, you're not using fantasy, you're using the most natural power you were born with, the ability to create thoughts and charge them with emotion. And when you do that with clarity, purpose, and belief, you become the author of someone else's mental story. They feel it, they live it, and before long they begin to chase the source of that feeling, you. Obsession doesn't begin with them. It begins with you. Before they ever show signs of desire, before they ever text or call or glance your way, it all starts with your belief. Your belief is the foundation of everything. Not hope, not maybe, not I wish. Belief, a deep, unshakable knowing that they are already obsessed with you, that they already feel the pull, that you are already living rent-free in their mind, every hour, every moment. This belief isn't something you wait for the world to confirm. You decide it first. And then the world catches up. The mind doesn't distinguish between what is imagined and what is real when emotion is involved. So when you vividly believe that someone is obsessed with you, and you feel that belief in your body, your nervous system begins to act as if it's true. Your posture changes, your voice deepens with confidence, your energy shifts, you walk differently, you speak differently, and whether they're near you or far away, they feel that shift. People respond to energy long before they respond to words. So when your belief becomes certain, they sense it. They feel the change, even if they can't explain it. Most people wait for validation. They wait for the text, the call, the compliment. But that's backwards. The telepathic connection activates when you decide that it already exists. When you walk through the world carrying the energy of, they can't stop thinking about me, your thoughts become magnetic. You begin to radiate certainty. That certainty becomes a signal, and the signal reaches them. They may not understand why, but your name starts echoing in their mind. They find themselves replaying conversations, remembering your scent, wondering what you're doing and who you're with. And it's not because of anything they saw. It's because of what they feel. This is not manipulation. This is alignment. You're aligning your inner world with the outcome you desire. The more consistent you are in your belief, the faster reality bends to match it. The mistake most people make is doubting in the middle. They start strong, imagining themselves as irresistible, but the moment they don't see immediate results, they spiral into fear. That fear cancels the signal. It tells the universe, I don't really believe this is mine. And so, it isn't. But when you hold your belief like a flame, steady, unwavering, even in silence, you become a force. You stop looking for signs and start being the sign. You stop reacting and start creating. And here's the truth. Obsession energy is created by emotional consistency. If you consistently imagine that they are thinking about you, desiring you, missing you, and you feel those thoughts as if they are real, their mind begins to mirror your belief. People absorb the dominant energy in any dynamic. And when your energy says you are already mine, their subconscious picks up on it. Your belief sets the tone. It shapes the frequency of every telepathic message you send. If your belief is shaky, your message is distorted. But if your belief is solid, grounded, rooted in emotional certainty, then your message is crystal clear. That clarity pierces through distance, through time, through resistance. And it creates emotional reactions in them they can't ignore. They start seeking you without knowing why. They want to be near you without understanding the urge. They think it's coincidence. But it's your belief doing the work behind the scenes. You don't need permission to believe. You don't need proof. Belief is the cause, not the effect. You hold the power to create obsession in someone else's mind simply by mastering the story you hold in your own. When you see yourself as irresistible, when you decide they are already under your spell, when you know it so deeply that it becomes a part of how you breathe, that's when the magic begins. Not outside of you, not from their words or actions, but from your own inner declaration. They are obsessed with me. I feel it, I know it, I live it, and soon, so will they. Obsession is not a random spark. It's not an accident. It's the result of repetition. Consistent exposure to a thought, an energy, a feeling that embeds itself so deeply into someone's mind that it becomes automatic. You become their mental habit by deliberately planting yourself in their thoughts over and over until you are no longer a visitor, you are a fixture. You're not trying to be remembered, you're making it impossible to be forgotten. The human mind forms habits through repetition. Anything we think about enough times becomes a default pattern, a loop the brain revisits without effort. This is how people become obsessed. They think of someone once, then twice, then again, and soon the person is appearing in their dreams, popping up in their random thoughts, affecting their mood. And when you understand this, you can become that habit on purpose. You can build your presence in their mind like a mental structure, piece by piece, image by image, feeling by feeling. It begins with your own focus. You don't need them to be present physically. You don't even need them to talk to you. What you need is repetition in your own imagination. You see them smiling at you. You imagine them replaying memories. You feel their longing. You do this not once but daily, rhythmically, until your energy becomes a pulse that surrounds them. Every time you focus on them with a strong emotion, whether it's desire, power, or certainty, you're sending a wave, and each wave builds on the last. Most people don't realize that the subconscious mind is incredibly impressionable. It doesn't need verbal confirmation. It responds to energy, visuals, and emotion. So when you're holding someone in your mind with intense focus and emotional clarity, you're building grooves in their subconscious landscape. You're creating internal triggers that fire off when they see a certain place, hear a certain song, or smell a certain scent. That's how obsession works. It hides in the in-between moments, creeping into thoughts without warning, repeating until it feels inescapable. And the more consistent your energy is, the stronger the habit becomes. Imagine being the one constant in someone's mental world. No matter what they do, your presence loops back. You've become their internal soundtrack. Not because you're chasing them, not because you're begging for attention, but because you've shown up with such intensity in your own consciousness that it echoes in theirs. They begin to associate your image with emotion, comfort, mystery, desire, power. That emotional charge seals the habit. Thoughts that carry emotion are more likely to be repeated, and repeated thoughts become obsession. The trick is to focus with detachment. You don't obsess over them. You simply insert yourself into their mental landscape like a familiar melody. You rehearse their reaction to you. You feel the way they look at you, crave you, need you. You do this over and over, and each time your energy leaves another imprint. They don't even realize what's happening. One day they just feel that they can't go a single hour without thinking of you. They wonder what you're doing, they feel a strange connection, they start seeing your name everywhere. These are not coincidences. These are symptoms of a mental habit you've created. And once a habit is formed in the mind, it takes effort to break. But when it's tied to emotion and energy, it doesn't feel like a burden, it feels like gravity. That's what obsession is. It's emotional gravity. It pulls, it lingers, it repeats. It becomes part of the rhythm of a person's life. You become the silent presence in the background of their day, a whisper that won't go away. They can't fight it because it doesn't come from outside pressure. It comes from inside them. The more you reinforce this presence in your own mind, the stronger it becomes in theirs. The brain is wired to follow patterns. And when you give it a pattern that includes you, your face, your voice, your essence, it adapts. Their thoughts start returning to you without resistance. That's the goal. Not a one-time fantasy, but a consistent, repeating imprint that says, this person lives here now. And once you live in their mind, you're no longer someone they remember. You're someone they need. Every relationship begins in the mind, and the one who controls the mental narrative holds the power. When it comes to telepathic influence, you are not reacting to the story that's already playing, you are writing it. You choose the storyline. You choose how they see you, how they feel about you, what they remember and what they desire. This isn't manipulation, it's authorship. You are not forcing them to love you, you are choosing the emotional script they begin to live out simply by deciding what energy you broadcast and what beliefs you hold. The subconscious mind is incredibly receptive. It absorbs impressions and internalizes them without needing logic or evidence. This is why the emotional scripts you create in your imagination become more than just fantasies. They become psychic instructions. When you mentally rehearse scenes where they feel joy, longing, admiration, and magnetic attraction toward you, you're not just daydreaming, you are installing those emotional experiences into their subconscious. With enough repetition, those imagined experiences feel real to them. They remember moments that never happened. They feel emotions they can't explain. And they begin to see you through the lens you created. Think about it. Every time you visualize them smiling at you, missing you, needing you, you're setting the tone for how they relate to you. Your imagination becomes a kind of emotional programming. Their mind unknowingly begins to sync with the version of reality you've been projecting. Maybe they were once indifferent, maybe they were unsure, but now, suddenly, you're on their mind for no apparent reason. The memories they recall most vividly are the ones you've imagined. The desires that rise up inside them are the ones you fed through your consistent inner focus. This is not about control, it's about emotional leadership. You're not trying to override their will. You're showing their subconscious a version of reality so compelling, so emotionally charged, that it begins to accept it as true. And once the subconscious accepts something as truth, it searches for proof. It begins rearranging perceptions, editing memories, and reinforcing feelings to align with that story. If you've been mentally repeating the idea that they feel safe with you,